Man, in the evening time, grand evening, peace and one love to everybody tuning in from near and from far. Welcome to RockTrue Beatz. I am your host, Marley King, also known as Chris Lyon. And we thank you for joining us as we rock truth to absolutely nothing at all. RockTrue Beatz is a cross-cultural response to the lack of choice in music today. RockTrue Beatz is designed to provide a sound message from theory to lab to life, while encouraging the necessity to return back to origin by way of relative keys as kingdom principles. RockTrue Beatz seeks to inspire, enlighten, and highlight upcoming and established local and international kings and queens, musical artists of character, while promoting kingdom consciousness and awareness of who we are and to whom we belong. Yeah, man, peace and one love. Once again, Marley King, Chris Lyon back in the building. It's good to be back after some minor technical difficulties last week, but you already know I'm here to bring the funk, man. It's time to get down back to business, man. It's another Tuesday, man. August the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure I got my days right because they be intertwining with each other. Look, 1, 2, 3. We all feel it, man. We all feeling it.
Come on.
Like, what day is this?
One more week for my birthday. We put it out there. Yes, it is the season. It's the reason for the season. Me, that's next Tuesday.
What's going on?
My birthday.
What is that? What is that? Just another day on the calendar.
I wish it was.
Another day now.
I wish it was. Them lies. That ain't what Jesus told me. I'm done believing man. Yes.
Something super serious, super deep, man. Super deep, man. The days of the week, man. The days of the year, man. I don't even know no more, man. We're just living in the moment. That's the best thing we can do. And I can see my brethren up there and my good sister down there, man, both feeling the same way, man. We've been running, ripping and running. And we tired, man, But nonetheless, man, out of that tiredness, meaning that we need to get some rest and recovery, some R&R, some rest and relaxation. And after that, man, we come back recharged. So let's always be mindful to take some time out. It might not be today for you, Will. It might not be for you tomorrow, Mary. And it might not be the next day for me. But eventually, we need to make it a conscious effort of finding time to get some rest, man. Today was my day of rest. Unequivocally, the stars lined up, man. All my jobs said I don't have to come in for work today, man. They said we'll see you later on in the week. Things happen like that for a reason. So I took the day to rest and relax.
That must be
good peace, man.
I say the same thing.
Hey, man, I haven't seen a day off in a minute.
Yes. I'm like, we're just gonna take the day. Take the day. I think that was yesterday with Rock True. And I got that call
sure.
Somebody in the back. Oh, sis, take the day. Take the day.
You enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself.
Hey, watch out, man. Look like it just rolled out of bed.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. Wicked piece of work, man. But, hey, man, rest is always key, man. Let's be mindful of it. Let's make sure we get plenty of it, man. Man, it's been a beautiful summer for myself, man. Beautiful spring flowers coming into play, man. Beautiful piece of work.
Oh,
you
man.
overstand, man.
That King. That's
You overstand.
Oh, my God. That's in the garden, King.
Yes, absolutely, man. The beauty of flowers. I've never been so infatuated with flowers in my life until this year when I started growing plenty of them, man. And this is one of our beautiful cone flowers right here, or what they call echinacea, a really good lung medicine, powerful lung medicine, a respiratory healer right here,
Right.
She's been known for thousands of years, and we like to use all the aerial parts of the plant. We don't like to go under the ground and grab the root. If we do use it, I'm not familiar with any uses of it, but nonetheless, I like to use this as a nice respiratory and immune system builder, especially during the early spring months or later on in the summer going into fall when the sicknesses start running rampant. Changes of the season, changes in the weather. We got to make sure that we work our bodies in preparation for these changes in seasons. You understand? Something serious, but beautiful coneflower right here, man. And this thing is such a divine piece of creation because if we look close, let me see if we can pull it up on the camera. But we start to see that Fibonacci spiral or that Fibonacci sequence right in the middle of it.
Okay.
Kind of hard to pull it up on the camera. Maybe you guys can see it. Maybe you guys can't. It's kind of dark. The sun's setting behind me here today. But nonetheless, that spiral is ever present in there, you know?
You know, the tripped out thing, I got some of those in my yard. I didn't even know what those
You
were.
got some cornflowers.
Yeah,
Oh, beautiful, man.
I had planted some wildflower seeds the other day, and well, not the other day, about 2 months ago now, and some stuff like that is coming up, and I'm like, all right, so cool.
That's beautiful, man. Hey, something I want to drop on you, man. Since you see this growing in your front yard all the time, yo, you should read Genesis 1:29 and 30, my friend, because it
Okay.
tells you a whole lot about the things that are supposed to be our food and our medicine. You understand? The long lost book of herbs that was taken out during the Council of Nicaea, man. You know,
Yeah.
there's a reason that things like this was taken out. Another book that was taken out was the book of Numbers. Okay, and all of these things hold a lot of power in them. Just these two pieces on their own. And I'm going to get into that a little more as we start speaking. And we're going to talk about real quick what they call solfeggio frequencies. Anybody ever heard of that or even familiar with it?
I haven't heard
Here,
of
Okay, man.
here we go. Here we go with another term. What is it?
Okay, we call
I was
this.
just on the show with Doc, so you know I
Hey, when they get on here, they be coming up with something. I was like, what?
bro. If they saw my
Hey, man.
It just they blow my mind.
Okay.
Look, here she
Each
is.
one teach one.
Yeah.
Each one teach one, man. I have some dahlias budding. Beautiful. Well, Dr. Ak, I should call you Dr. Dahlia now. But you should definitely send over some dahlias, man, because I'd love to have a nice vase full. Look at these flowers right here. I know we kind of bouncing back and forth, but let me just showcase this, man.
No, you
Some
good,
beautiful
man.
flowers right here. Absolutely, man. Some nice zinnias right here. These are probably like a week old right here. You see, these flowers are about a week old. But nonetheless, if I kept changing the waters in these things, they would go ahead and survive for upwards of 2 weeks, you know, just depending on how much sunlight you give them and how well you take care of them. It's just a beautiful piece. Absolutely, Dr. Ak. It's a very beautiful thing, man. Getting back in tune with Mother Nature has been one of them turning points in my life, man. You know, one of them times where I thought that, you know, I was so far away from my connection with the spirit, man, with the creator, man, with the most high, you know. Mother Nature brought me back and made me overstand, you know. It's just little subtle changes just by looking into the eyes of the plants or watching the plants grow from seed or even getting my hands down into planting the seeds and growing up a plant really tall. It really just pulled me back into that connection with source, you know. It's something super deep, and I recommend everybody spend more time out in nature. You know, I know we got a lot of technology that is taking over us and it has become the new norm for us, you know, but I really want to preach that it's essential for us to get back out there and experience Mother Nature and just have them thoughts, you know, even if we get off by ourselves, you know, just to have them divine thoughts, you know, have that conversation with creation, you know. It's something very deep, and it's something that you know, strengthens and I don't like to use the word belief. I'm going to say strengthens what I know, because belief is to believe something. It means you don't have any facts to back it up, you know. You don't have any proof, you know. To know something means that I know my creator, man. I know spirit, you know. I know source. I know the most high, you know. And that's the way I think we got to look at it. Word, sound, power. Once again, right back at you, Dr. Ak. Write that down in your notebook. Word, sound, power. You understand? Nonetheless, let's jump back here real quick, because we could always get off on all these wonderful tangents, and we'll find little times to chime in on things like that. But let's jump back to the frequencies. Frequencies are ever present in this world. Everything is vibrating at a frequency. I believe the human body vibrates at about 17 hertz. The human body resonates at 17 hertz. Okay, and we think about, you know, things that are like infrasound or ultrasound being something that's a super high pitched sound, and infrasound being that something super low. And these things could be very therapeutic or detrimental to our body as well. Just think of maybe you hear, like, people used to have this dog whistle on their phone, you know. It was an app that you could download something. This is back in, you know, 10 years ago. So come on, Will, I know you got to know about this, man. You don't remember this?
I didn't know about that one. You could get a dog.
Oh, I thought my brethren would know about this. So I don't know if it's the dog whistle, but it's this high pitched noise. It's like this high whistle, like a real high whistle. And some people, they can't hear it, but other people can hear it, and it just throws them out of balance, man. It could make them sick. It could hurt their ears and stuff like that. One of the mainstream examples I can give is with the diplomats, the U.S. diplomats down in Cuba as of recently. And when they was down there, they started experiencing symptoms of nausea and disorientation and bleeding from the ears and ruptured eardrums and things like this. And this happened to be from a particular frequency, a low frequency, or an infrasound that was that was being blasted into them, and they couldn't hear it, but it was detrimental to their body, unknowings to them. So it was very interesting to show in a mainstream way how that is actually going on. And the military has weaponized, even law enforcement too has weaponized the use of sound. So in Massachusetts, there was a group of who they call the Moors, the Moor Science Temple, the Moors. There's a group of them out in Massachusetts, and they're always claiming sovereignty and stuff like that, man. But how you gonna claim sovereignty when you don't know nothing, man? And then you're going off and trying to claim this by eminent domain and kicking in somebody's door. Somebody comes back from work and you're living in their house with the locks changed and stuff like that. And then you wind up going to jail for that. So where is the sovereignty or the autonomy in that? There is none, in my perspective. But nonetheless, these Moors out in Massachusetts, they got caught up with a bunch of semi-automatic weapons and things of that nature on the highway, and they ran off into the woods outside the highway. And in order for the law enforcement to get them to surrender or come out, they blasted this ultra frequency, so something that was very high pitched, and it just rattled them to where it made it feel like they was melting and stuff like that, and head about to explode, and they had to surrender and come out. Now I had an experience yesterday when I was making some beats yesterday. I figured out that there was this effect called the guitar rig, and I loaded up the guitar rig setting on the MPK, which is my MP3 or the machine software. So when I loaded that up, there was an option to change the frequency of it from the standard 440 hertz. Remember what we talked about? 440 hertz was the unnatural frequency. It's very discombobulated. It's not pure in a sense. So I changed it to 432, and then I clicked on the tuning fork, and that allowed the tuning fork to be hit, and then it chimed, and you heard that frequency, and it started making me so out of whack, man. I can't understand the change. I can't really explain the change that started happening in me, but it rattled me to a point where I was getting sick. I was getting nauseous. I felt like I was in a state of disorientation. I didn't know where I was, and this particular frequency was 432, which is supposed to be the beautiful frequency or hertz per second that all musical instruments and even music since the beginning of time was tuned to, because it's such a healing and therapeutic and beautiful spiritual note. So with that being said, it makes me really wonder the effects that 440 hertz has had throughout the whole entire course of being implemented in the 1950s until now. And I really start to see deeper and deeper the connection of how people in the streets, man, all these young folks, all the people jamming this wicked music, the this, that, and the other, how they are really being affected on this subconscious level, because 440 hertz sounded so natural to me and stuff like that, and 432 was the exact opposite. But it's really supposed to be the opposite of that on the flip side, But like I said, man, just having these subtle changes, man, these subconscious changes that's going on in this world, man, people got to really be mindful of this stuff. If I'm putting an experiment out there like this, man, somebody needs to go out there and practice that themselves to see how it affects them as well, just so that we can get a deeper understanding, man, because there really is a sound war going on out here, whether people like to acknowledge it or not, man. And this is really all tied into our mental health and our physical health and our emotional health as well. There's different frequencies such as 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, 832, and those are the six solfeggio frequencies, okay? And these are the six main ones, and these have been hidden by the Vatican since I believe it was roughly it was during the time of Pope Gregory the Great, okay? So this was like roughly around 1000 AD. Okay, and this was in the time where the Vatican was, they were working with the Benedictine Buddhists, not the Benedictine Buddhists, but the Benedictine monks. Okay, that were living in the Vatican, well, where present day Vatican City is now. They were living there, and they were putting together hymns and chants and songs, the Gregorian chants that we're familiar with within the Catholic Church. It's like them. We got all these different type of, and they sound very divine, man. If you listen to the different frequencies on that, those are actually the solfeggio frequencies that were used, that were taken by the Vatican from the Benedictine monks and used in order to create the Gregorian chants, or the hymns for the Catholic Church. And this happens to intertwine with the Crusades as well. How the first wars that were ever fought, the first wars of the Crusades, were wars of sound. Because each side had to put their hymns together, and they came together, and that's how they started discovering who's over here and who's over there. Very deep and very divine, man. So folks should dive a little deep, man, to do some nice research, because there's some very great information out there. But those solfeggio frequencies was taken by the Vatican, and once they seen that they could be used for they could have a consciousness expanding effect on people. Once that was noticed, and that it could be used for to further develop, or to make people think deeper and have these prophetic thoughts, it was banned by the church, and especially by Pope Gregory the Great. I think that's actually Pope Gregory the First. I got to go back and check my notes for that one. I don't know if I wrote that one down. Nonetheless, the Pope Gregory, and the reason he hid those, and these solfeggio, sorry, it's such a tough word for me to pronounce, man. Solfeggio frequencies. These solfeggio frequencies are supposedly locked down still in the Vatican archives, that nobody's allowed to see. There's I think over 57,000 articles or books down there. The number could be even greater, as they keep on compiling these different pieces of works and manuscripts and information. But nonetheless, they got it locked down there, and the reason they locked it away is because the people were getting to catch on that these were some healing frequencies, or these served more than just a purpose of singing a song. It was very deep, and that they affected people to the point where they could start healing themselves and healing environments and healing places. So therefore, when this was discovered, they had to go ahead and take that power away from the people, man. And I always question why things are done like that, but it's all too obvious, to keep the people enslaved and to keep control and obedience over your people, so they bow down to. You see, exactly same way.
The Pied Piper. About the music controlling the people, specifically the youth, like the way in which you can control the minds of them. And so the Pied Piper, like, you're able to utilize music to control people, the masses, in a particular way that you want. Like, that's I mean, just all of this, like looking at Doc's comments, like, it protect you from outside disturbance. Like, if you really just think about, like, just your life, when you utilize music just privately, like, seriously, those negative things on the outside that attempt to try to come into music has that power to keep, because words, it's the song, like, all of that, it's a combo of. And then to say, okay, we also are a vibration, we also are a wave, like she talked about on the show.
Say wait, hey, Doc spoke about that.
Said that we're a wave. So now it's like, now you look at all of this stuff, and then for them to hide frequencies, like, it's just, I just
wait a minute. Something's not right.
But now it's just, and now it really kind of connects us a little bit more with, like, for me, like the ocean, like, not just the physical trees and stuff. Now it's like this connection to water, to the ocean, and the things and ways that. So now thank you, Lord. Well, I don't have a choice, because he got me wherever he wants. But now I want to think more about my connection with just nature, with the ocean and the sea and stuff, as opposed to like a tree and growth, because that's what I have been studying prior to. This is
something deep, man. Everything you talked about had to do with music and sound as well, man. The waves, the ocean produces its own music, its own frequency, its own sound. It's very deep. Let's see what Dr. got to say real quick. It expands your energy field around you to create a stronger energetic barrier. Absolutely. What's unseen always goes over the head of the peoples, man. Open up your other senses so that we can understand when things touch your energy, it can affect you. But when your energy is stronger, you can affect it more. Like a tank versus a bike. Exactly. Same way, man.
Okay.
Same way. Look, these are all real world examples we're using here, you know? Anybody can use whatever example they want, but there's so many ways that all this stuff connects together, man. You know, frequency is very important in this universe, man. Nikola Tesla said during his lifetime that if you want to understand how the universe works, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And there's a reason, because all three of those are connected right there, man.
Yeah.
One thing that Nikola Tesla always specified were the numbers 3, 6, and 9. And those are very divine numbers, man. When you start adding up all those numbers, man, they either, so 3 plus 6 is 9. 6 plus 9 is 15, which reduces down to 6. 9 plus 3 is 12, which you can break down to the number 3. And I think that's all we can do with that. But nonetheless, numerology is very deep because of the vibrations that it holds. And I'm gonna go a little bit deeper because this, you know, like, remember I told you that that this particular frequency, the solfeggio frequency, was taken by the Vatican and locked away in the archives to take that power away from the people. Now I want to dive a little deeper. In the 1970s, there was a guy named Dr. Joseph Puleo, and he was a physician and one of America's leading herbalists in the mid 70s. And something that he did, he was able to rediscover the 6 electromagnetic sound frequencies in the Bible. Okay, so check this out. They corresponded to the syllables of the hymn to Saint John the Baptist. So if anybody's out there, take some notes, because I could break this down a lot more and we'll run out of time, man. So I don't want to do that. I always like leaving people with homework on RockTrue Beatz, man. Don't hate me for it, but hey, man, we got to put some fat on your head, and you got to go ahead and take it from there, you know? You got to educate yourself too. We can educate as teachers, but I'm still a student to the game as well, man. I'm learning just as much as y'all still learning, you know? So learn with me. Help me, help me, help you, help me. You understand? Or that's what they say, somewhere along those lines, you see? Okay, nonetheless, let's jump back in this before we jump off track. So these particular olden 6-tone scale frequencies, known as the solfeggio frequencies, corresponded to syllables from the hymn to Saint John the Baptist. Okay, so he was a visionary and was made aware by a vision of the Pythagorean method of numeral reduction to rediscover the solfeggio frequencies. So numeral reduction is taking like the number 13 and breaking it down to 1 plus 3, which equals 4. Okay, I'm just giving an example of the numerology. That's how it works in the numerological world. And this is going to connect with the book of Numbers. Okay, this is another book that I just described was taken out of the biblical text during the time of the Council of Nicaea. You know, the Council of Nicaea took out a lot of knowledge that could have affected the people, and I believe that was King James who was part of that right there, man. And King James, if we know, man, you know, history says he did some wicked things, man. But I'll let that be up to the interpreter, man, to the person who's reading. You know, do your research, dive a little deeper, and you tell me what you think, man, because, you know, actions speak for itself. Nonetheless, in the book of Numbers, he discovered that there was a pattern of 6 repeating codes in the book of Numbers. In chapter 7, verses 12 through 83, okay? Here's an example. The number 726, okay? Think of the number 726. We could break that down or reduce it down to 7 plus 2 plus 6, okay? That's those 3 numbers right there, all added together, okay? We think of it. 7 plus 2 plus 6 equals 15, okay? 15 can be reduced down to another single digit. Remember, in numerology, we can only go from 1 to 9, okay? Those are all the cycles. And this is not arbitrary. This is something that is divine and has been established since beginning of creation, you know? Okay? So 1 plus 5 equals 6. So the number 726, eventually it reduces down to the number 6, okay? Now let's keep that number 6 in mind. It was in the book of Numbers in chapter 7, verse 12, that this particular doctor, Dr. Joseph Puleo, found a reference to the first day. The second day was mentioned. So that was chapter 7, verse 12, mentioned the first day, okay? The second day was mentioned in verse 18, and the third day was mentioned in verse 24. So we think of that. What we got? 12, 18, and 24, and so forth until the final reference, which was in verse 78, speaking of the 12th day. Okay, here we go, the number 12 again, man. Like I said, these numbers show up all throughout the course of these particular texts, whether or not it's the Old Testament or the New Testament. You know, words may be changed in order to correlate to the vibration that they're trying to project at you, but This is how this is set up in this particular version. So the Pythagorean reduction of the verses, let's think of 12, verse 12, and then 30. So we think of 12. 12 breaks down to 1 plus 2. 30 breaks down to 3 plus 0. That equals, once again, our pair of threes right there. Okay? So we think of verse 18 and verse 36. Okay? Remember, these are all chronologically listed, okay? And this all happens to be in the book of Numbers, okay? Starting from chapter 7. So 12 and 30, we get our threes. Now we get to verse 18 and verse 36. So we take 18 broken down to the number 9 because 1 plus 8 equals 9. Then we get down to verse 36, which is 3 plus 6, which also equals 9 again. So let's think of it in chronological order. We got our threes, we got our 9s. Now for verse 24 and the reflection of that, verse 42. 2 plus 4 equals 6 and 4 plus 2 equals 6. Okay, so let's recap those numbers there. Verse 12 through 30 came down to 3. Verse 18 through 36 came down to 9. And verse 24 through 42 came down to 6. So if we look back on our solfeggio frequency chart, our 6 main healing frequencies, we come back to the very first one, which is 396, okay? This is not arbitrary either. This is very divine. It's just on a very deep level, okay? We have to understand that. Not many people are going to understand this right now. And I think this is why a lot of people, a lot of modern day folks, they tend to shun talk like this because it doesn't resonate or it doesn't make sense to them. This was something that was taken out of the teachings, you know? So therefore, if it's not in the teachings, it's going to be looked at as something that's bad or disruptive or something that is, it doesn't tie in or has no purpose in the biblical text, you know? And I beg to differ.
Me too. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the resource of information. You can take that and align it to his truth. And if it aligns in every aspect of government, it becomes true. It's shouldn't be anything dismissed. So no, you're absolutely right. Like, why are we dismissing information?
There's checks and balances in here, Mary. There's checks and balances. And I think numerology is one of those great checks and balances because a lot of things that we read, we may not understand it for what it's worth, but somebody who understands mathematics and numerology, if they were to read those texts and be able to decode it like that, it would make so much more sense to them. And therefore it checks the work checks out, you know, the divine creation checks out, you know. We can go in with science. I mean, it's not really science, but it's mathematical science, you know, numerology. We can go in with mathematics and or quote unquote science to go ahead and prove this theory right, you know? I mean, there's so many more divine connections with the world that we live in and the spirit world, and people got to understand that, man, and stop overlooking the overlooked. You know, let's stop doing that. Okay, so let's jump back in this so I can conclude this.
Okay.
The repetition of 396 is the first solfeggio frequency, like we just said. Okay, he found the next frequency, which is 417. Right below 432 hertz, which is a very therapeutic and natural healing at that. He found the next one by looking down at verse 13, which is speaking of an offering. 6 verses down, which is verse 19, the same offering or idea is repeated. Okay, so we're starting to see the pattern pick up here again. You know, once again, you know, one of the mysteries of creation and of the creator is parables, you know, being able to encode something inside of a riddle almost, you know, that not everybody is going to hear, but somebody like you or I who's in tune is going to be able to interpret it or decode it. See what I'm saying? Okay, so 6 verses down at verse 25, there's another repeat. Okay, so we're jumping from 13 to 19, which is 13 plus 6 equals 19, down to 25, which is 19 plus 6, another 6 verses. There's 25, and then another repeat, and it goes on and on again. Okay, all the way up to the end number. Again, by adding, or excuse me, again by using the Pythagorean method of the reduction, he discovered a pattern. This pattern is 417, which is the second frequency. Why do we say it's the next pattern? Because let's think of it. We got 4 plus 1, which is 5, and 5 plus 7, which is once again, 11 plus 1 is 13. So we got those 13 right there. And the 13 breaks down into what, 4? Hey man, I'm way up. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the numbers. This is what can happen with mathematics, okay, or with numbers. 417, okay? We got 4 plus 1, which is 5.
Correct.
5 plus 7, which is 12. So 12 breaks down to 1 plus 2, which equals 3. Okay, one of our other divine numbers, like 369, man. These things happen to go all over the place. Okay, so that's how he found this second solfeggio frequency from that particular pattern right there. Okay, then he continued on with the Pythagorean method until he discovered all of those: the 528, the 639, the 741, the 852. Those are all unarbitrarily, man. People got to overstand, man. Okay, so let's jump back to the hymn of Saint John the Baptist too. Okay, once again, music is so deep, man. People got to understand there's origins to all of this, man. There's origins to sound and to, man, it's something that give me goosebumps, man. You know, just thinking about it, because you start to think yourself back in this particular time period, man. What was going on, man? World was so different back then. There wasn't no technology. People had to pull this from the source, man. You understand? This wasn't something that was just written down for them, man.
Yeah.
We got to quit discrediting the ancients and looking at them like they were stupid, man. I know a lot of people, and I'm not going to be the one to argue that says, hey, man, there wasn't no extraterrestrial influence on a lot of design on the planet here. But nonetheless, we can't take away the power, the brain power of man. You know, man has been smart since the beginning of time. As he continued to develop, man, we're only stupid in some people's eyes as a baby. But then we get older and older, and we start to gather and gain wisdom through trials and tribulations, and through lessons and through setbacks and pitfalls, this and that, you know. So we got to look at our ancients like that too, man. They didn't have the technology that we have today. In my mind, that they were smarter than us back then. They were more in tune with the source, because they didn't have so much distraction, man. Back then, everything had to be channeled. Everything was taken from the environment. Everything was shared or traded or bartered for all around the nation, man. And we got to quit overlooking that, man. Never take credit away from the ancients, man, because they were the ones who laid the foundation for us, man. You know, it's something deep. Anyways, let me get off that rant here. Get off the rant here.
I totally agree with that. Like, because we are quick to dismiss it, and we're quick to just be like, okay, they were wrong. Even in their wrongness, like you're saying, they at least were doing. They wasn't trying, they were doing. So if this is a failure,
were doing.
Yeah, and if this is a failure on their end and they didn't finish, this is where we now pick the ball up and take that information that was still left, and now we take it. So it's not a bad thing, like you said. Stop overlooking, even if it's wrong. And like for Christianity or kingdom, you know, it's the same thing. Yes, it's aspects of religion that's incorrect. So now we can take that and build upon it and make that proper or origin. Like you said, take it right on back to origin. Like you, bro.
Okay, so let me jump back in real quick. That was nice, man. That was a nice chime in right there, man. Made us feel comfortable with the subject we're speaking about right now, because we is diving deep, man. This is forbidden knowledge right here, man. This is forbidden knowledge to the common man, you know. Hey, man, you understand? We're going underwater with it. Okay, so let me jump back in here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this particular hymn to Saint John the Baptist. Okay. This particular hymn that they was creating. The syllables used to denote the tones are ut, re, mi, fa, sol, and la. Okay, let's remember these particular ones. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. They were taken from the first stanza of the hymn to Saint John the Baptist. Okay, I'm gonna practice my Latin right here, so y'all bear with me. Okay. Here we go. Here goes the hymn right here. And I'm not sure exactly how it changes in notes and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna give it to you straight up. Utqueant laxis resonare fibris mira gestorum famuli tuorum solve polluti labi reatum sancte lohanes. Okay, so we picked up the ut, the re, the mi, the fa, the sol, and the la. Okay, we picked up all of those six particular hymns in there, and all of those are tied into these particular frequencies. I'm going to tell you about it right now. So something that was said by Saint John was, in order that the slaves might resonate the miracles of your creations with loosened vocal cords, wash the guilt from the polluted lip. So saying that, he's talking about being able to say these particular frequencies in order to heal, in order to use the vocal cords, the vibration, the frequency that was bestowed upon us from the creator, from creation, you know, and being able to recognize these frequencies, and let's vibrate our vocal cords at them so that we could heal ourselves and in turn heal everything else around us, you know. So let's jump to this. The 396, which is the ut, resonates with turning grief into joy, liberating guilt and fear. Okay, turning grief into joy and getting rid of that guilt and fear. That's what that 396 is for. That ut in the in this particular stanza of the hymn. Now we got re, which is 417 hertz, our second frequency on here, and this is known for undoing situations and facilitating change, or bringing about change. So if you're looking for some change or getting out of a particular situation, maybe you went through something today and you don't want to be a part of that vibration or frequency, you know, 417 hertz is the way to go, man. Go on YouTube and search 417 hertz and they'll be able to project some sounds to you, man. Something deep. 528, which lines up with me. So we got ut, re, mi. 528 is me. Okay, and this has to, I see this all over the place, and we're getting closer to one that was used out in Mother Nature, man, down in the Gulf, a particular frequency that was used down there in order to relieve the ocean bottom from all of the oil slick that was down there. I'm going to chime in on that in just a hot second, but 528, or me, resembles transformation and miracles, or repairing DNA reparation, you know.
Wow.
And that's another deep sound as well. I heard somebody record, and this was about 4 years ago. I heard somebody record a song at 528 hertz, or after they recorded it, they put it through a 500. They changed the hertz from 440 to 528, and it sounded so great, man. It resonated so well with me. Like, I can't really explain. It's hard to explain feelings to people, you know, because the people can't feel the feeling that you were feeling in that particular feeling, you know. Something deep right there, but you felt it resonating in your skin, like right underneath your skin, in your hemoglobin that we were just talking about on RockTrue Science last week, man. Serious piece. Okay. Nice thing. Nonetheless, we'll jump on to the next one, which is 639, and this happens to be the stanza of the hymn that says fa. Okay, 639. This connects to or correlates with relationships and connecting with spiritual family. So if you're projecting something at this particular frequency or hertz per second, 639, this is something that's beneficial for your relationships, not only you know, love wise, but with your family and stuff like that too.
Brother,
all this is up for interpretation. People have to go out there and take this. What is knowledge without application, man? It becomes nothing, because you're not using anything. It stays in your mind, and if you don't use it, it's gone. That's why people are like, oh, I don't remember that. What did he say? You know, and that was 5 minutes ago, man, because it went one ear out the other. You wasn't trying to retain that, man. You know, nonetheless. Exactly. You weren't trying, you know, that's understood. Nonetheless, people got to take this knowledge and utilize it for themselves. Do some experiments, man, so that we could verify this. I can only verify it on my level, but I'm putting this knowledge out there to share with you, you know, so that you could take this and come back and give us your thoughts and share your experience with us to see how it affected you or affected somebody else around you, because trust and believe it will affect somebody else around you if it doesn't affect you. Okay, now we got two more left here. We got 741 hertz, which is soul. So 741 is soul, and this happens to correlate with expression and solutions and cleaning and solving. Okay, so now we're getting close to that particular frequency that was used down there in the Gulf of Mexico years back in the early 2000s. I'm pretty sure it was when the BP had all that oil spilled out there, you know, and created a huge dead zone over the course of years. It's so wicked how cause and effect works, man. You know, because they spilled the oil, the effects are going to be so much environmental destruction and degradation in years to come. Now this is going to become a part of the certification, like many other places in the world. You know, we got our maroon brethren, you know, down, or what we call cimarrones in Spanish, which is like runaway slaves. Down in Jamaica, in cockpit country, you know, it's where the Maroons are living. Probably the only, at least that I know of, the only autonomous group that's still living off the land, free from government taxes, government order, this, that, and the other, and they live as a community, man. They're modern like us, but they live as a community. You see what I'm saying? Everybody loves one another, man. It's not families taking care of their own families. It's the community taking care of the land taking care of the industry, taking care of the trade, taking care of each other. And there's very, very little crime down there, if not any. Maybe there's maybe a bad crime every so often. You know, I don't even want to give a timetable because I don't know. You know, but these cats are very civil amongst each other, man. That's our Maroon brethren. If y'all don't know, do some research on it, y'all. Go on to the YouTube. Go on to the Google or go on to YouTube and search bauxite, which is BAUXITE, bauxite mining in cockpit country, or just search the fight for cockpit country, man. That's one of the. It's a very fertile piece of land right outside of it's southeast of Montego Bay, right outside of St. James Parish. Sorry, I'm having a little difficulty here with my mount right here. Okay, there we go. Much better. It's located southeast up in the mountains outside of St. James Parish. It's in Trelawney Parish, which is just east of it. And Albertown is another close town. If anybody knows these names I'm throwing out, put the map together in your head or pull it up on the YouTube or the Google. That's what we got the technology for. But nonetheless, you go down there, and that's where these Maroons are living, and it's a very beautiful place. If you go down to Jamaica, you can go ahead and take a tour up in there and deal with the brethren and sister living up in there, man. It's a very beautiful vibe. They're living off the land, and what's happening down there, this U.S.-backed company called Noranda is coming in there to mine bauxite, and bauxite is what they call it, an amorphous clay rock, and is composed of aluminum oxides or silica compounds, iron oxides, and titanium oxides as well. So a lot of oxides in here, man. A lot of oxygen. So I guess probably the closest thing we'll probably know is iron oxides, which is rust. Okay, as we know, living here, if anybody lives in Gary, Indiana, or industrialized areas, man, we know all about, all these crazy emissions coming out the steel mill, smelling like a dirty diaper, rotten eggs and stuff like that. It's nasty driving down Fifth Avenue and Broadway in the morning times and having to smell that, whether or not it's a cold winter day or a beautiful hot summer day, man. We smell it in the air. It's wicked, man. But nonetheless, I've seen iron oxide be discharged from U.S. Steel right there. That's a big reddish burnt orange cloud coming out of there. And I've seen it go over the community right by the Railcat Stadium right there. So it lets me know, like, look at all this wicked stuff going on right around us. We don't have to go far to see this stuff. These are world around in the world, but we got stuff going on so similar to this right in our own backyards. Nonetheless, the bauxite is create aluminum foil. Okay. Let's think about hands indirectly involved with. Yeah, you can smell.
You can
probably see our dirty selves down here in the G, man. We stinky, man. We got a cloud of emissions down here, man. Crazy thing. Somebody ever live in an area like this? I always ask myself. There's so much fumes and so much sense and wickedness coming around there, all from a lost dream. But we got things like the sun, the wind, the rain, and the water all around us. What is the need for old school technologies like this? Let's get away from that. We understand why it's being done. There's always a wick that's got things going on. When you know something is right and you do wrong, hey man, nothing can amend that. What's right is right and what's wrong is stand on it. Okay, so nonetheless, what's going on with that bauxite mining down there? They use this bauxite in order to make aluminum foil or aluminum packaging or aluminum products in general. And we notice we use it all the time, whether or not we're grilling out or we're wrapping something up to store it in the refrigerator. Aluminum is ever present in our households, but it's made from this particular bauxite rock or compound, whatever you want to call it, that is found richly in the ground over there in Jamaica, and down in particular where the Maroons are living, right outside of Maroon Town in Cockpit Country. They're finding it in abundance. It's also found in Papua New Guinea as well. And there's a lot of humanitarian crisis going on over there as well that doesn't get highlighted or talked about, but they just exploit the land and exploit the workers. And they promise the communities and the people, the tribes that's living there, they promise them, hey, you guys can have your land to grow afterwards. And after they get out of there, after mining up all that stuff, the land is infertile after that. Now, a byproduct of this particular amorphous clay rock known as bauxite, when they dig this stuff up, this happens to kick up all of this dust in the air, which makes it very, very detrimental and harmful to the respiratory system. Think of somebody who has asthma. Maybe one of us has asthma. Think of how bad it is when we come in contact with a lot of pollen in the air or a lot of dust in the air. It really just chokes us and has a grip on our airways. You know, it's really wicked. Now, with our skin being the biggest organ on our body, think about all of this toxic dust falling onto our skins.
Right.
It's so bad that these folks down here have to keep their clothes inside of suitcases because it's getting in through vents and getting in through the smallest cracks on their houses out there. And there's no care in the world being given, you know? How can you do this to man? How can you do this to the country of Jamaica or do this to man knowing that you're going to be killing off or sacrificing your own people for the sake of profit? And I'm speaking to Prime Minister, Mr. Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness down there, man. Somebody needs to wake up, man, because it's very wicked what's going on. You know, you're not giving a care for the people, and that's going against what you believe in, Mr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Love is the healing of the nation, man. You know, it's a lot of wicked stuff going on. So shout out to my Maroon brothers and the head of the Maroons down there right now, Brethren Richard Curry. Respect, man. We stand in solidarity with you, my brethren. You know. All for Mother Nature, man. Like I said before, how are we gonna love God and shun nature? You know, that's what I'm talking about, Honorable Prime Minister. Doesn't make no sense, man.
It don't, and you can't make.
How can you love God if you don't love Mother Nature?
Not rationalize that in no way, shape, or form to make that make any type of sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, people do stuff on purpose. Like even when we're talking about these frequencies, you're leaving this information out for a reason.
Absolutely. So simple as that, man.
3 is God is all in it. The number 6, man's number. These are the same common numbers. You get to 9, it's 3, 3, 3, 3. God. Like, and if you're watching what he's saying about healing, about the number, the frequency number, like, and you look at these numbers, it's like God. Like, so if you paying attention, like he all in everything, even when we're insufficient and you see the 6, he's still there. He's like, so it's so much. Like my mind is like, it's the Tuesday show.
Hey, Tuesdays is heavy, man. Tuesdays is heavy.
All like this.
We come from RockTrue science to this, man.
Yeah. And we didn't, and here's the truth, that I didn't think this was gonna be like 2 correlating shows at all. I thought these were gonna be 2 opposite, right? I'm like, yeah, 2 shows will be fine next to each other. No, they're
and I promise you, putting them there, it wasn't even a thought in, you know, whether or not they, but he knew. He knew. Now to watch this, I promise. That's why I was telling Doc on the other show. I said I didn't want to comment.
Respect, Dr.
And oh my God, I keep getting confused on which shows it is because you would think that we're together. We're not together. This stuff comes together. Like he was saying, we're all on the same tune. We're on the same frequency. The same way, inside, outside, like, you know, and she was in a position. We could be in different spacing, yet in the same position. It's just a lot of all this stuff. My man,
that's a subatomic level. I think that's a word.
Yes. Ooh, hey, he been watching RockTrue Science, man. He been watching RockTrue Science.
I've been hanging around her way too much. She's
these 2. You gotta make them work like a
I be trying
subatomic level, man.
I be trying to keep up, and then like I said, it's like racing. And then all of a sudden, they take off. You like, all right.
Yeah.
Molly,
it's time to get left in the dust.
You ever been following somebody and they totally forget that you were following them?
Yeah, you like,
oh, bro, I just meet y'all there. I just meet y'all. I get to I'm just gonna be there because y'all get they can just go like.
That's what you like. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because that's all I got.
I'm gonna Google that later because I don't know what it is.
I want to chime in so bad, but I gotta listen because I'm like, okay, I gotta learn this first.
I have to first
start chiming in. Yeah, I gotta actually learn. Like, okay. All right. See,
but it all makes sense. It all makes sense. It's all science. It's all him. I love it. I
Yeah,
love
look it up. That's right. Look it up.
Yeah, look it up, man. She know. Teach is to teach, man.
Hey, I feel y'all dope though. Y'all dope. This all ties in. It all makes sense. Like straight up. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I love it, man. It's
Yes.
such a divine correlation right there, man. It couldn't have worked out any better like that, man. Like I said, divine timing, man. You know, people got to understand what that means. It just doesn't mean divine timing as literal as we say it. It's something deeper than that, man. It's something that we can't really see, but we could feel it, man. We feel the connection going on. You know, they talk about the sixth sense or they talk about the sixth sense, man, and that's one sense that people don't use enough of, man, and they discredit it, you know, or they misjudge it or they misinterpret it. There's a lot of ways that people can go about with that, but to see us come together and to see Mary be able to select these particular individuals to come and represent these particular shows, whether it's Monday or whether it's Friday of the week, man, people got to, or whether it's Sunday. I see y'all doing a RockTrue cooking show on Sunday too.
Saturday.
Yeah, man, I seen it. Saturday. Sorry. Like I said, my days run into each other.
Yeah.
I did the pop. Remember, I did it on Sunday with my niece. I was just, with just.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was a one-off.
Do nothing on Sunday. That is not to do nothing on Sunday.
That's a one-off. That is not happening.
Listen, man.
You know how it go.
Marley. Let me say.
Hey, what's going on, brethren?
This is not to correct you, but
yes,
we didn't do any of this.
No.
We are just vessels, sir.
That's it.
I kid you not.
Preach it, my brethren. Preach it, my brethren.
We allow God to use us to bring y'all out, and
I swear,
I promise we didn't none of this. We didn't go out and look for nobody. None of y'all. I'm not kidding, Marley. I'm not kidding. I forgot. I meant to tell you this. But the first time I ever met you was on video.
Right.
Wow.
You was out at the beach, and you ran up on her, and I got scared. I was like, Mary, get out of there. like I'm yelling at the video, like, oh no, oh my gosh, because like I'm watching the video. And Mary just like, she all happy. She's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, no, oh dear God, I'm gonna lose it. So when I say we don't go looking for these people, we do not go looking for hosts. We do not. I'm serious, man. Y'all just show up.
Wow.
It's God's way.
Wow.
I kid you not. He crosses our paths.
Yeah.
And that's that. We don't go out looking for this. Like,
and I mean all of it. And I mean all of it. Like, none of this is something that's like, okay, we've been trying to do this for years. It's not nothing, not one thing. There's not one thing that we're told. That he gives us pieces. He don't give me the same parts and pieces Will got. I got that, and it's so great. We'll come together and it'd be like let's go back to the fact that we didn't even realize like we was huge Starbucks lovers, right?
Yeah.
And then to come to like for real now, like we always wanted to do a cafe. Yeah. Like this, it's stuff that and we didn't know this until his time.
Yeah.
Look, we be coming out with our teas and our little drinks and stuff like that, just like old cafe, man. Just like the cafe. RockTrue Cafe, man.
Yes, and we got
hold on.
What?
Why is Marley not part of the RockTrue Cafe squad?
He is.
Okay.
Yeah, they missed.
I know I got to be.
Yes. So the garden that him and Carl has the garden and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah, the garden and stuff.
Yes, man.
Stuff out of the garden. And
okay.
Yeah, so we're connected with them.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah,
respect.
That's like having dogs. Like this. And then I got Andrea, the other part of Holistic Jerks. Like she's joining the cafe.
Yes, man. Yes, can't forget them.
Yeah, she's gonna bring that vegan option. So
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Connected.
That's Marley.
Paths cross, man. This is why the Bible says don't worry about what you're gonna eat and don't worry about what you're gonna drink. Because guess what? He's already laid the path for you to intersect with the thing that you need.
Thank you, King.
So these are the things that we need. These are the people that we need. Yes. Guess what? I didn't ask him for it. I just said,
Nope.
you know what, God? Whatever your will be, I'll
That's it.
go.
I'll go.
Send me.
Send
Send
me.
me.
Send
That's
me.
all we said. I kid you not. I kid you not, Mark. That's all we
Me too.
said. We said, send me.
Yep.
We just willing vessels, man.
That's it, bro.
It's so simple as that, man. You know,
Yep.
this world is very, very simple, but we make it so difficult, man. You
Yep.
know,
Teach.
we
Yep.
make it so difficult. And I'll
Teach.
tell you what, man. When you made that comment about you said, you know, that's just the spirit speaking through the vessel. I said,
No.
oh my goodness, I just had an outer body experience, man. Just like I told you that happened when the frequencies flipped on me yesterday. You know,
Yes.
I kind of went out of body for a second. I said, well,
Yeah.
hey, let me take a breath and make sure I'm still breathing, man. Make sure
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know, because I felt like I just transcended right there,
Yeah.
man. Something
Yeah.
serious and deep.
I
It
want to
is
test.
so deep to recognize.
I'm just very
Go ahead,
curious. I
Mary.
want to test these. Like I want to test these. Like when Doc brought up, like when you were first talking about it, the very first thing I was thinking about, of course, outside of just warfare and being able to use this in a way, but it's 5G, and I'm just like, you people getting sick, people get like, come on, man, like it's these waves, it's these frequencies, they're too high, it's just, and I know it's with purpose and on purpose. I know that,
Mhm.
but it's like to be ignorant of this information, but now like using the information you just gave us kind of makes it more of a reason to say, hey, it could just be
Right.
that. It's our vibes being totally thrown off by this music or by this wave of like even in our areas, I be feeling like I don't know about y'all. I just feel like, you know, certain areas like you like anybody drive outside of Gary and it always just look like it's dark behind you.
When you look back, you like,
Yeah, behind you, man.
What is that road? I'm like, what is you leaving
That
out,
is wicked, man.
bro? Like, come on, man. I just don't. I feel like whatever
yeah,
the ever frequency wave, anything being dumped, anything,
Yeah.
it's all in this. And no matter what angle you look back to
yeah,
Gary,
yeah.
it's dark.
You could definitely feel the shift in
Yeah.
vibration, man. You
It's
Yeah,
a
know,
shift in the vibration.
and
Yeah.
let alone see it. You know, you could see it, man. You was
Yeah.
just talking about how it looked dark behind you, man. You know, light is vibration, light is frequency as well, man. So it's upholding a different one. You
Right.
know, it's wicked like that. I see this every day when I walk around, man. I see, you know, a lot of people with the spirit, lacking the spirit, man. You know, the the spirit is totally out of them, man, and the frequency is vibing so low, I could feel it coming off of them, man.
yes,
That's how
sir.
deep it goes, you know. And when somebody like me comes around, you know, vibrating high, you know, it's something that disrupts them so much, you know.
It
It changes up their whole mo and how they feeling and how they get along. You know, life is suddenly better than it was 5 minutes ago, you know.
Right.
But
does.
then when I leave, you start to see that shadow cast back over that particular area or that particular person, man. And it's important to be in tune like that, man.
Yeah.
Like a
You
walking zombie. Yeah, we see a lot of them, man. You know, I
Oh,
seen one
every
yesterday,
day.
man.
Every time I
Every day,
roll
man.
into Gary, I'm like, oh my gosh.
know what? But here's the thing, though. That has to be something even in it, not just psychologically, social.
Mm,
But like you said, and maybe it's something in that make you just be like,
mm.
because when you
Yeah.
driving to go
Yeah.
Garyville, you don't feel like that.
Yeah.
It's a. I know what you're saying, bro,
Different
and
vibe. Yeah.
why it's like why should that be? There's something being done,
Yeah.
and I like what
Yeah.
you were saying, Marley King, about that vibe. You come off because again, going back to just everything should add up, being a plant and being a
Mm,
seed. And so when you bring your vibrations over, like Doc was saying, if yours is more dominant, which it should be because it's his, it should
mm,
dominate the other energy and make it either rise or provide that person with that sunlight. But then when you leave, it's
right.
like that they it goes down.
Right.
For them, it goes back down, and it's like, I understand that to a T. I am like now in tune with my vibration. I actually had a massage from Kevin.
Okay.
I am. I
Shout
think
out to Kevin.
Marley know Marley know Kevin.
Nobody. I don't know who is
He's
Kevin.
out of vibrations. He does massaging and stuff out of vibrations too. So
Oh, okay.
but just getting in tune with your vibe, like your
Yeah.
vibe and your the things that you the aura within you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Spirit's energy. What was the third one you said? Spirit energy and I can't remember. I'm mad because it was three things, Marley. You said, yeah,
Spirit energy
like
and
spirit energy
and
Oh, to overstand the universe, think in terms of sound, frequency, and vibration.
Sound,
Frequency.
frequency, and vibration. Okay, okay, because those are important. They're important. I mean, they're important just to our soul, spirit. Because again, in this world, you're focused or told to focus on this flesh, and he telling you this ain't gonna get it. This only good for where you are, but where you are
Yeah.
is also in two different locations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not physically in just. I mean, you're not just in the physical world. You're also in the spiritual world.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
operating in one. When you operate in the physical, these tools here are
Yep.
used for smelling and but when you're in the spirit, which he's telling you,
Right.
spirit and in truth in everything you do, then you can't use those
Right.
here. You can, operate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
I'm
deep
sorry,
piece of
guys.
work, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
I know it be like that, man.
Yeah.
It's not. To have conversations like this is very important, especially to expand your mind and to expand your
Right.
thought, to expand your level of consciousness, man. Because most people aren't having conversations like this, man. Everything is this is what I hear every day. Everything is about the music, about what's
Mhm.
on. Go. The first thing that they see on the television in the morning, they're talking about some more. Uh, excuse my language, some more dumb shit, man.
Yeah.
That's just.
That's the dumb, bro.
I'm just kidding.
It's
I'm just.
garbage. It don't
Yeah.
profit nobody. It
Yeah.
don't even profit you.
Yeah.
No,
There's
that's
no
what you
context to it, man.
Yeah.
There's no context to it, man. There's no progression being made in that, man.
Right.
And in order to have conversations like this, look how much more enlightened we all feel after this,
Right.
because I may have said something that you didn't know. You may have taught something that I didn't know, and he may have said something else that we didn't know. And all together, we came together as that powerful collective right there, man. It's very important. Look at Dr. Og, man. Everybody gotta learn something from science, man. If you don't know anything about science, man, tune into that show every Tuesday at 5 p.m., man. Do not miss out because it's a lot of fat to go on your head. We jumping down the scale of elements right now, and it's so enlightening. It brings me back to my high school classes, and it brings
Yeah.
me back in tune with modern day, man. Sometimes we need refreshers in life.
do. You do, especially with science. Like looking at science now from the perspective that she's teaching it. Now I get it. Before
Mhm.
it was just kind of like over my head and I couldn't apply it to life.
Yeah.
It was like just having the knowledge because it wasn't places or areas where I could. Like you're saying, just it's really more so going back to conversation and thought. I wasn't having these conversations in thought outside of a science classroom. So it just seemed like, what are we talking about? Now you go back, you in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, this ain't that. But it's like now I'm in class and I get it and I can understand it because most importantly, I get him.
Right.
It ain't even, I get him
Proper
now.
position.
Yeah.
Proper position. Once you get proper position, you can learn proper education.
Woo, King.
We always want to put the cart before the horse. I never did understand that concept. Like people do that all the time. Like why would you want the cart before the horse? That don't make any sense. If you put yourself in proper position with God, you'll start to understand all of the facets of this life. Like,
Yeah.
but we don't want to submit to that. People just don't want to submit to that. They want to submit to sin, and they want to submit to their own desires, but they don't want to
It's
submit.
so easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's enjoyable. They like it. They like it a lot.
That's what you don't want to say. That's the part that
Right.
you don't want to say. Like,
Yeah. They really don't want to tell you that part. Yeah. They don't.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm doing me. No, you like it. You like it. You're not doing you. You like it. You enjoy it. Just say it. Just admit it. You like what you're doing, and it's fine. Because it's fine. It's okay.
There's no way around it, man. No way around it.
It's okay.
yeah.
But enjoy it.
Some of us was there at a particular point in time, man. I can't attest for everybody to be like that, but if you came up under certain circumstances and situations, you was in a mind frame like that at one time, man. When I think of myself back in a mind frame like that, man, there wasn't no care in the world. I was making up excuses for myself to give me excuses or reasons behind the wicked actions that I was and wicked things that I was participating in, man. The music was a powerful influencer behind it, and that was influencing the people that I was influenced by, that I was around, and therefore a lot of atrocities occurred, man. Lives lost, people succumb to addictions, people become addicted, and they never get off it. And this is addictions of all sorts, man. People use your imaginations, man, because there's all type of addictions that go around, man. Just because it doesn't look like an addiction to you may not mean that it's not an addiction for me. You know, we all have to understand that, man. We all have our own troubles and our own how do I want to say it, man? Thorn in flesh. We have our own. It's one of the 7 deadly sins, man. We have our lust for certain things, you know. Yeah. I mean, I guess all of those are included in there. Gluttony, you know, gluttony is a big one, man. How many people overeat that take the whole damn platter and scarf it down and won't let nobody else get nothing? Their body don't need all of that, you know.
And that's anything. It's not just in food. It's any
exactly.
Like you said, because like we were trying to do socially accepted scenes.
Right.
That is this you cannot do because your shopping therapy is a socially accepted scene.
Right.
It's an overindulgence, man. An overindulgence in something.
Yep. Anything. Yeah.
Anything. That's what somebody will say, like, "Oh, I'm not a murderer." Yes, you are, because you gossip. Your tongue is sniping, yo. Your tongue is a serial assassin.
You good at it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of canary singing, man.
Come on, bro. Come on. That's just because it's socially accepted to gossip, but it's not socially accepted to actually kill somebody physically. Don't mean that God don't. I mean, he looks at it that way. He look at murder.
Yep.
Hey man, I always got to shout out Dr. Og, man. Hey man, keep it real. Always let the truth be told, man. If that's what your vice was, man. If that's what you was gluttonous about, man. Keep it real, man, because we all have things to that, man. Overindulgence and to the point of waste. Absolutely, man. To the point of waste, man. How many times do we take more than we can consume, man? I see this all the time. This is why I see McDonald's cheeseburgers splattered on the road and a half-eaten Big Mac thrown in the trash over there and French fries littered across the ground because people are just tossing that out. They got too full after eating that first Big Mac. Well, why did you buy 4 more? You know? Why did you even eat there in the first place, man? You know?
Can we not talk about cheeseburgers?
I know. We do. I do want to say because I know I'm tired, but I do want to say because we do as a society, and this is part of what's taught. We spend so much time focusing on our sin and the sin of others. Listen here, that was taken care of on the cross. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on that. That he ain't even hung up on that. Like literally not hung up on the cross no more on your sin. Don't let nobody hold you to that. Everybody in this camp on this side of the Jordan is a sinner. They're going to keep on doing it till they cross over. You ain't going to never get perfect in it. But what you can be perfect in is that love. And that's that love his way. Forgive and restore and repeat. That's your one job. You got one job. Stop trying to recreate or reimagine all these other job opportunities. Work one. He did not ask you to do that. Just do the one job. Forgive, restore, repeat, love. Don't worry about your sin. If you do that from the inside and you plant that seed inside, it will end up taking root and sprout. And you don't know what one day you cussing and then you're not. One day you're fornicating and then you just don't want to. One day you're drinking and you put it down. But what I always tell people who do have addictions, please don't let people force you into stopping. Don't let somebody tell you just cold turkey. No, because what happens is you'll go right back to it. Let natural progression occur and it will go away. Continue in love. You know? Continue in love.
That's really deep, man. All of that hits home so well, man. You know? It's important that through every trial and tribulation or through every day, through every action, through every circumstance that we're put in, that we reap a lesson from it. That allows us to grow into a better person than we was 5 minutes ago or yesterday, you know? It's something really deep and divine, you know? Don't worry about the mistakes that you were made. How do we learn if we don't make mistakes, man? Everybody has to make mistakes, man. This is why we always give thanks to the ancestors as well, because like you said earlier, Mary, where they came up short, where they failed to meet expectations, we pick up the torch from that and we continue that on to keep creating the legacy. It's very important, you know. Mother Earth is
Yeah.
a sacred being, you know, and everybody has to overstand creation, and everybody has to overstand the power of the Most High, man. It's something very deep. So people really need to get in tune, man, and take time out, take your socks off, walk outside, get grounded, get back in tune with Mother Nature, smell the flowers in the morning, stand out in the rain, watch the thunderstorm, watch the hummingbirds, watch the butterflies. Pick up an ant. Don't swat the bee that flies inside the car or inside of the house. Pick them up and let them outside, or sweep them in a container and put them outside. You know, we don't necessarily need to do wicked things like that. You know, we need to really get back in tune these days, man. Just like we spoke about today, the highlight of the highlight of the show was speaking about these solfeggio frequencies, these six particular frequencies, man, and how all these things correlate with healing and making the world a better place. You know, and all these things can be projected on people, on objects, animate or inanimate. It's something deep, man, and we all got to keep an open mind and allow these things to resonate with us. That's why we, on a platform like this, putting this knowledge out there, you know. Take this knowledge and utilize it one way or another. You know, you may not utilize all this knowledge, but take what you can and utilize it to better yourself or better somebody else. You know, it's a real serious thing, man. It's really enjoyable for me to come out here on Tuesdays, man, and speak my mind, because there's a lot that's on this introverted mind of mine, you know, a
Hey, I
lot
can't
that's
wait.
on it, man.
I can't
You're
wait.
overstand.
Look to next Tuesday because we about to go to sleep. And guess what else, Chris? For real, I am. Chris, I'm serious. Like, I want to do like a day in life with you. Like, I just want to like just follow you around
You
and
need
like
to.
just
You
record,
need to, man.
just, like
I
get
need
in
a
that
personal
space.
cameraman. I'm hiring right now.
Okay, look. I just want to. I really want to just. You remind me of like when I think of you, I kind of think of like Left Eye when she went to Honduras and she just went
Yeah,
and just
man.
like, come over here, look at these trees, come over here, honor this. This is important. This is. I still remember them pawpaws. Them pawpaws was amazing, and I didn't know it was in
Mm.
our. I didn't even know it was a
Hey,
fruit.
Papa's
You know,
coming up in 2 months, man. Papa's in 2 months.
that's that
Be
laughing
ready.
tapping. That laughing tapping. Okay, don't take us out of here, King.
Hey, you already know, man. Give thanks for tuning in. It's been a wonderful evening. Peace and one love to all my people all across the globe, man, from near and far. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure hosting on Tuesday evening. Marley King, your host. We got Selena K in the building this evening time, and we got my brethren Will be done up there in my top. Hey, man, enough respect for coming out, y'all. We busted some knowledge, man. We broke some barriers. We talked about frequencies. We talked about, you name it. Frequencies sum it all up, man. Frequencies we talked about. We got in deep about some humanitarian issues going on in the world, man. It's been a wonderful, fruitful show. A lot of knowledge for the mind, especially this evening time for you lay down and get yourself some sleepy time. I'd watch. I already got my popcorn ready. I already know you need to come on and get on board. Dr. Ak, you an inspiration behind it. Hey, always remember, tune in on Tuesdays at 5 p.m.
Yes.
Central Time, that is, and check out Dr. Ak on there. Rock True Science, man. It's a very wonderful show. I love it, man. It's a flashback to the past, but it's bringing me up in present day by refreshing my knowledge, get me back in tune with my elements. And me being an herbalist, it's always important to know more and more about these elements, man. I'm always chasing the purple dragon because there's knowledge of abundance out there, and we are gonna keep chasing it, man. And make sure to utilize it as well. Nonetheless, before I go on another rant here at the end of the show, this has been another episode of Rock True Beats. Peace and one love. Molly King, Selena, will be done, and Dr. Ock down there. See ya. One
Peace.
love. We out. Peace.
This time, change. People can